The Duke Blue Devils have what looks like to be not just the number one overall pick, but one of the best prospects to ever come through the NBA. This guy is 18 years old. He should be a high school senior, Dan. He he leveled up so he could be part of this rookie class, and he's entering the NBA draft, what I'm guessing, after a ridiculous season at Duke. And I think a lot of NBA teams are looking at this situation and saying, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Thunder, Spurs, Rockets, Sixers. Like, all these teams have a shot at getting Cooper Flagg in one way or another. And I detailed it all on Yahoo Sports. The Oklahoma City Thunder have the Sixers pick this year. It's top 6 protected, which means that if it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, Philly keeps it. Philly can have Cooper Flagg next to Joel Embiid next year, which is crazy to think about. And if it falls at 7, 8, 9, or 10, OKC will get that pick, which seems unfair based on the fact that they have the best simple rating system score in the NBA history, meaning they're outscoring opponents by more than any other team in NBA history. And once you account for their strength of schedule, it gets even crazier how good they are. And they could get the number 1 pick, not with the Philly pick, but with the Clippers. The Clippers have a 21% chance of missing the playoffs, which would mean that they would go into the lottery, which would mean they could be winning, quote unquote, the Cooper Flagg sweepstakes, capturing the flag. Remember, 2011, the Clippers traded for Mo Williams in order to dump Baron Davis's contract, and they got Mo Williams and Jamario Moon, and they were like, yeah, go ahead. Take our first round pick, Cleveland. Go ahead, take it. We're not going to put any protections on it. You can have it. And sure enough, they finished 32-50, and Kyrie Irving goes number 1 to the Cleveland Cavaliers through the Clippers pick. So right now, the Clippers are, in the 6th slot as we're recording this. They're going to lock into the playoffs if they can get there. But Dan, the Thunder could get Cooper Flagg. The Spurs could get it through the Atlanta pick. If the Atlanta Hawks miss the playoffs, it's going to go to the lottery. And considering that they traded a couple pieces at the deadline, it could be a second half slide to their season. But also, like, the normal teams, the Wizards, the Hornets, the Nets have their own pick this year. The Houston Rockets, by way of that trade last year, the Brooklyn Nets trade, where they were like, we're going to just like exchange first round picks and swaps. This really weird trade. The Houston Rockets are getting Phoenix swap. So the Phoenix Suns, if they miss the playoffs, then they go to the lottery. They're not going to be able to have their pick. It goes to Houston instead. So Houston could have like the number 2 or 3 seed out west and land Cooper Flagg, which is insane. So all of this is to say, keep an eye on the Capture the Flag watch here as we go down to the stretch. Which team do you think would be the scariest team to get Cooper Flagg? Like, if it happened, you'd be like, oh, they're going to win every championship the next 5 years. Like that. That's incredible. Who is the team that will keep you up at night? Like, I got to write about this team every week now because they got Cooper Flagg and this cast of characters.
Yeah, I think it almost feels like a hat on a hat to put him in Oklahoma City. Like, I mean, yes, of course, you'd find a way to start Cooper Flagg, but it's like on that team, gee, like, where does he even fit? What do you do with all of that? I think you wrote very compellingly about the idea of a Wembanyama Flagg pairing in the front court in San Antonio, which is nuts. But I'm going to, just for the purposes of what I'd like to see, because obviously I can't say New York Knicks. The Knicks have traded their pick to the Brooklyn Nets for Mikal Bridges, and that wouldn't be in the lottery anyway. So I can't say that. Selfishly, if he went to Brooklyn, be a nice train ride to go see him.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I want it to be one of 2 places. I'd like it to be Charlotte, or I'd like it to be Portland, because I want my man Tom Haberstroh to have the inside lane to being able to watch and comment on and enjoy and experience the Cooper Flagg era, because either it's going to be the team where you are, or it's going to be the team whose broadcast you contribute to. And I'd love to see the way you document that experience and what kind of weird numbers you get out of watching all that. If it can't be, he pairs with Zion and reclaims the, like restores the promise in New Orleans. I want it to be something where Tom Haberstroh gets to benefit personally and professionally. That's what I want for you.
That's amazing, man. Thanks, Dan.
I'm really
Thanks, dude.
thoughtful. I'm like a good dude. A lot of people don't know that about me.
It's a lot of love you're showing to me on a Valentine's Day week. Is it
That's
Valentine's
exactly right.
week? Is that a thing? Can we make Valentine's? Yeah, thanks for the love, man. I really appreciate
who's gonna do that.
I got a lot of hate. I have this thing where like people know I live in Charlotte, so I almost overcompensate while being a little sharp, little sharper knife when I talk about the Hornets sometimes.
Okay.
Because I have this like bias in my head that I don't want to be, too much of a homer. So I pointed out in that piece for Yahoo, I was like, they seem to always be the bridesmaid, not the bride when it comes to the Hornets. They lost out. They were number 2 in the Wemby draft. They were number 2 in the Shaq draft. They were number 2 in the Dwight Howard draft. They were number 2 in the Anthony Davis draft. And if you remember, the number 2 picks haven't been the same as those names I just mentioned.
I mean, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was a perennial All-NBA candidate, right?
Right. If you can't get the Kentucky Wildcat, who's, a 7-foot point guard, then get the shooting guard who can't really shoot for Kentucky. But hey, I love MKG. Great guy, by the way. But maybe that means that they're due. This is the gambler's fallacy that if things have not been going your way, then sometime they're due. They're just due. So the Charlotte Hornets, they had Grandmama Larry Johnson back in the day with the number 1 pick, and maybe they're due and they're going to get Cooper Flagg. But man, it would be also one of those things where the Charlotte Hornets have always loved getting the local guy, whether it's Sean May or if there's Raymond Felton with Carolina.
Right.
There've been a lot of Dukies who came through Charlotte. Cooper Flagg would join a long line of Dukies who came through the Charlotte Hornets franchise, and I would venture to guess the best one to ever do it in a Charlotte Hornets or Bobcats uniform. So that would be really cool.